Got shirts, enamel pins. We got decals.
I'm ready for a decal.
Back in my old town of Florida, there was a tale of this boy. The old Morgan boy, we called him. He was a pretty nice kid. That's what we all thought anyways. What we didn't know was that secretly, that boy's ultimate dream was to rob a bank. Oh, it was misunderstood. He just wanted to know what it felt like to be a billionaire asshole just for one day in his whole miserable life. So he packed up his bags and started robbing everything, living his ultimate fantasy, robbing every bank from here to Tennessee. He robbed every last dollar he could from those poor folks.
Hell yeah.
Meanwhile, Steve stayed at home and was just a nice person who hurt no hypothetical people. The end.
That's awesome.
That's beautiful.
Oh, man, that
Who
made
was that
me-
from?
That was part 2, basically, from 28 Heart. Now he did the last
yes,
one as well.
Beautiful stuff.
It makes me feel very not alone because I felt very alone in that. I've never felt more disconnected from Steve. It was that and when he wanted to go to lunch the other day.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
the extent
It was
of
like you were
the
on
chasm.
an island and I could see it, and I was just on a little
I
floaty
think I
out in
was
the
there
ocean,
with
just
you.
splashing around.
I
was like, okay.
came to the island.
You did, yeah.
I was like, I get it.
Steve was the one who was just on the
Steve was so anti
vessel out in the sea. Yeah, that's so. Thank you very much. Who was that?
That was 28 Heart. Now he did the last one
He
too.
did the last one too.
Really
It was
good stuff.
I'm loving
Yeah.
all the like, oh brother, where art thou? Toe.
Yeah.
Oh
Where
brother,
art thou?
He's not even as he said it, as he was like, "Ellie, I want to rob a bank from here to
Breaking the
Tennessee."
banks.
In my heart, I felt like absolutely, I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Like that would be so
That's
cool
fine.
to be on the
It's a
run.
hypothetical, man.
Oh, gosh.
I get it.
You're robbing banks left and right, and you're getting away with it. The rush alone, holy
Dude.
crap! Not to mention the financial gain.
There's nothing
Yeah,
I don't
right?
get about this.
Right?
There's nothing I
Yeah.
don't get about
So
this.
cool.
All you're going to get is a bunch of new skills. Driving real
sure.
fast,
Yeah.
technical skills like that. You're also going to learn how to launder money, which you could use in a lot of
I
situations.
also feel like you could really do this right, Morgan. Like, I feel like you'd go in and the bank tellers would be like, he was very sweet. He seemed like a really put
right,
together
you're working
guy.
on you're working on your people
I
skills.
look-
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
You know?
think that you'd be sitting there being like, all right, everybody, down
Yeah.
on the ground. I think you'd come up and you'd be like,
I'd be like
well,
a cool bank robber.
I think you would literally
Yeah.
be like, this here's a gun and I'm going to need all your money.
I'm so sorry. This is a gun, and this is how this is going to go now. You're
Yeah.
right. And I would be wearing clothes from like
I apologize, 'cause-
stitchfix.com/ Valley, I think is what it is.
You would.
We'll find it later. But yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah,
Oh, I
spoilers.
love
You guys,
it.
welcome to the Valleycast. This
Yes.
is the podcast from the Valleyfolk, which includes myself, Joe Beretta, Lee Newton, Steve Zaragoza, and Elliot Morgan. Steve is
Yes.
out today,
He's
but
at San Diego Comic Con.
yeah, he's having fun over there. Go look at his Instagram. I'm sure there's a bunch of
ridiculous.
posts of him with things that represent things that he loves.
Yeah, that's
He's
really it. That's exactly
That's pretty
what
much
it. Would be.
it. We take topics, we bring them to the table, and we discuss them. Sometimes it's current events, sometimes it's things we just want to talk about. That's the
Yeah.
rundown of the Valleycast, correct?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a lot of
that's
mayhem,
really
a lot
good.
of fun. It goes
Yeah.
off on tangents, and there's occasionally bits.
We've cried. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's good
We've had
times.
some crazy times on this here podcast. It's a fun little wormhole.
As evidenced by the beautiful song that we just got.
Yeah.
You didn't want to make that drive. I like that from here to Tennessee.
Some
Yep.
people would contend that this here podcast is a hodgepodge.
It's a hodgepodge.
That's what it
We
is.
almost named it hodgepodge, but we just didn't know if you'd get
But
it.
we were like, we're not quite sure if we know
I
what that
don't
means.
know what it is either. I'm going to be honest. Isn't hot dogs in there? I don't
Let's
know.
just take the first part of what we're calling ourselves
Sure.
and put it with the second part of the thing that we're doing.
Cast.
Valleycast? Great.
Great.
That
Can
makes sense.
do.
Let's use that rule for everything moving forward.
I think
Yeah.
we have to now.
Do you think if I robbed a bank, that could be an Out Yonder segment?
Yeah.
We're not letting you rob a bank. But hey, here's what we can
I
do,
could
buddy.
rob something, I bet.
Okay.
I bet I
Here's
could
a-
rob a little something, something.
Somebody
No,
of their
the whole
dignity.
goal is to not implicate you in a crime.
Yeah, you already
So
confessed,
here's what
man.
I will. I know.
They're not
it's
going
like
to say
ready
anything.
To do
They're
it.
cool. After
Here's-
that, okay, go ahead.
Here's what I will do. I will take you to an old west town. And
Yeah.
I will set up a fake bank robbery for you.
Yeah.
That is the
I'll be in-
worst country love song that I've ever heard.
And I'll set up a
A
bank rob.
robbery
for you.
Take you to an old west town and
I would-
set up a fake bank robbery for
Are
you.
you kidding? Blake Shelton would nail that song.
He would. He's sexy. What?
I want to do a segment where it's based off of the movie Game Night, where we do the mystery
Oh, you mean
person.
those like boxes or?
Yeah, you know when you go to the escape room, but
Oh,
like
yeah,
they
and they
come to
do,
your
like,
house instead, and they're like, "Here's the situation: someone among you has killed somebody."
Yeah.
I want to do that. Like, I want to have a party, and I want to have
Those
that
are-
service come
I
to
would
my...
do that in a heartbeat.
and
Also,
then film that.
escape rooms, I went to one and I'm not the person. I'm not
Yeah.
the person to do it. I got so aggro. I got so
really?
Oh yeah, like it literally, because none of it made sense. Like I think there's ones that are really well done and they're like really good with like riddles and stuff. And
You
this
mean
one
the
was
story
just
and
the it just
the
didn't
puzzles
make
they
any
intertwine
sense.
in
Yeah,
a beautiful
that makes
dance?
sense. There was no narrative. I was just like, how do I find the key? And I was very angry.
Yeah, I did.
It's not for me.
It's not your thing. I love them very much. I've done 2 in my life.
Really? Did you
And
love
one
them?
of them sucked, and it was based on Jumanji, but it was called Jungle Adventure. And then the other one was it was like a CSI kind of like you wear like an
That feels
FBI
better.
vest, and I fell into that.
Wait, they
I've
gave
ne-
you a costume?
Yeah, they give you a bulletproof vest. You wear a
Nice.
bulletproof vest, and then you go
That's
in and you have
nice.
to find a spy
That
in
feels
an apartment.
cool.
And then what happened? Listen to this.
Okay.
This is my subject, so I'm glad it transitions perfectly. We'll get to housekeeping in a second. This is my whole thing.
You're just getting
I'm,
it right
I'm calling
now.
an
Now
audible
you're just
because
calling an audible.
to be honest with you guys, the reason I wanted to go last was because I had nothing to talk about, and I love
my
escape
God.
rooms. And I found
Oh my God,
just
he
found
just
your
stumbled
topic.
upon it.
just like that.
Almost like this podcast, this Valleycast is an escape room, and you
And
just
you
solved the
just
puzzle. Get
did
out of
it.
here. You hold the record.
No,
Thank
you
you.
can't
Oh,
go.
sorry.
Oh no. Okay.
And I did. So there's like these little toy cars around, and they had these little metal things on it. I was like, and then I found this other little shelf that had these little metal things on it, and I was like, I wonder what would happen if I just like put it in this. I put this toy car that was like the size of like a,
Yeah.
I don't know, like a big thing,
toy car?
and like a toy, kind of like a toy car.
Kind of
Yeah.
like a toy
Kind
car.
of like a toy car. And I put it on the shelf and it magnetized. And I did that 3 times. And then the bookshelf goes and it opened up to another room.
That's
And I was like,
beautiful
I'm
work.
a genius. Yeah. And then I had to solve Morse code and I did. And then I
How did
found
you
the
solve
spy.
Morse code? Well, did you
Well, it's
you
a
have
code.
cheat sheet?
Oh,
Or did you just
absolutely,
know?
I had a
Okay,
cheat
that's
sheet.
when I was like, holy shit, Morgan,
Yeah.
do you know Morse code? No.
Dash / no or dash dot whatever it is, space, I think. Yeah.
They gave you the cheat sheet like that you found underneath the bed, and it's like
Oh,
it wasn't
yeah.
even all Morse code. It was just like 4 letters. It's
Yes.
like this is what you're going to be doing.
that's
Yeah, like if you guys want to
beautiful.
dissect it, it's not as cool as I kind
no,
of originally
it seems
pitched
cool.
it.
It seems really
No,
cool.
man,
You're
they-
doing great.
they
It's
make
so
you-
fun.
Super cool.
They make you feel so accomplished, and like you said, they really threw you into a world. They let you cosplay as an
They
FBI
did.
agent.
And
They
you
let
know
you
me, I'm not
straight
into
up
cosplay. That's not
cosplay.
my deal. But you throw a bulletproof vest on me and
Yeah.
tell me I have to find a spy. Yeah,
Did
I'm
you
gonna find that
immediately want
spy.
to like have a cigarette and just be like,
Oh, so
hard out
badly.
there,
And
just
coffee, like black
you
coffee.
Just black coffee. This is
And a
bad.
partner who I've worked
I
with
just
for 20
think-
years.
Is it weird that I literally just picture us zooming in on Elliot and then him just like drinking the coffee and being like, it's
Yeah.
bad.
It's bad. It's not good.
I don't like this.
I like Arabic beans.
Oh.
Yeah, I did that. I love that. And then I saw Equalizer 2 last night.
Oh Jesus.
Because my housemate, this will segue into your topic,
Sure.
probably would be my guess. But Equalizer 2 was a
Bad?
horrible movie.
Okay, so I was listening to the radio this morning, and I listen to like really bad radio because I like old music, and so the radio hosts are always bad.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
the
very
hosts are always,
cheesy,
like,
over the
horrible.
top.
And she was like, "Well, thank you, Lucinda, for calling in and saying that the Equalizer was 4 out of 5 stars. She called in and said it was a good film, good action film. So thank you." And I'm like, "What are we doing?"
Really?
Yeah.
The Equalizer 2?
She didn't even let the person talk on the air. She just talked about how someone called in to say that The Equalizer 2 was a good film.
Wow.
That's it?
That's it. I want to be in radio so bad because apparently you can
Yeah, just anything.
fucking fart it in.
Just want to say thank you to this one person who said something.
Who said something.
Hey guys, we're taking calls in. Tell us about your favorite memories of your dog growing up. We're really excited about it.
We're not
talking
going to
about
feature
dogs
you,
today.
but we will talk about what you said.
Oh, we got a caller. It's Lucinda. Lucinda, what do you got to say? Tell us about your dog?
I had a dog. Her name was Pam, and she was a 4 out of 5 dog. It was a good dog. Great dog.
That's great. Great dog. Okay, well, next caller. Okay, we
Okay.
got Jake. Jake's on the line. Jake, tell us about your dog.
Oh, hey.
I was gonna
Sorry,
do it.
I thought I was calling my mom. Yeah, I have a dog, and he's got 3 legs, and he's cute.
All right, well, thank you. Okay, well, we're going to take 17 more of these.
Yeah, I mean, that's really, like, I was like, what are we doing here, radio? Wait, so Equalizer 2 is horrible.
Awful. One of the worst movies I've seen in a while, but like to the point that I was like bad on a level. You know, there's like cute bad where it's like, oh, this is really
it's
bad.
adorable.
But it kind of made me feel feel for Denzel Washington, but it was also dumb enough that like was kind of mildly enjoyable. There was some violent action that's kind of fun, and the plot is terrible and nothing really happens.
Do you feel like you couldn't connect with it because you did not see the original Equalizer?
Yeah, Pete was saying that. He was like, you need to see the first one because he's like,
go into Equalizer 2?
For some reason, I didn't think the plot would be so complex that I would like not know what was going on.
Did you just go into Equalizer 2?
Just like a willing. I live my life like it's like, pew, pew, you know,
Wow, buddy, that is.
I'm the
that's
master of my.
Yeah, you jumped into the deep end without learning how to swim.
I know,
big guy.
but that's how I live my life. I take
drown.
risks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna drown in
Denzel.
subpar Washington.
Fake dumb movie blood. Housekeeping. You guys want to do some housekeeping?
Oh, I'll just do a tiny bit. Someone tweeted a very good point. Steve talked about how there was the Olsen twins and how they were the only examples of like young actors that had grown up safe and sound and
that came out okay.
They came out successful.
Not crazy.
But then we also shed light on like 15 that were fine. But they just weren't. And like Fred Savage was one. Someone tweeted us one that I'm so upset that I didn't think of.
We
Did you know-
forgot.
is
Yeah,
this
and
what
I
you're
was
gonna
right.
say?
I did
You
nail
knew
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay,
Before the
tell-
podcast, I was like, I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
Neil?
It's Neil Patrick Harris. And I'm so pissed because I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
We're dumb.
Fucking dumb.
But
We're
it's not
so
fair
dumb.
because he's a wizard, so he was going to be fine.
That's fair. But I'm just saying that is a perfect example of like he's so successful. He has a Tony. I think he's like really halfway through an ego, like an EGOT. I always want to say ego because it makes sense. But he's like he's doing it, man. He's like living
he
his
was
best life.
doing so much stuff simultaneously too, because he was the head magician at the Magic Castle here in LA at the same time. So he was running that
Really?
organization.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. He's like a huge magician. Yeah.
Of course he is.
Of course he
right.
is.
He's so
Right?
good. And then the other obvious one that we didn't say was the Olsen sister, Caitlin.
Elizabeth Olsen.
Elizabeth, who's
No, she wasn't a kid actor really. She was like she got in on like you know. Also, I think Cooter Fanning is doing pretty well too.
Cooter Fanning.
Yeah, Dakota Fanning.
You call her Cooter Fanning?
Cooter fan.
My friend Dakota Green, I always call him Cooter, and so I always we now by proxy call Dakota Fanning Cooter Fanning.
Fanning. Oh,
Well,
Cooter
Cooter
Fanning.
Fanning seems like she's doing pretty good.
The title of this podcast is just
Fanning.
Cooter Fanning.
Cooter Fanning.
The other small throwback to housekeeping, and for you new listeners, housekeeping is where we talk about things that we talked about in the past, where maybe there was a correction or somebody enlightened us, and we did a podcast on our top 3 favorite fast foods, and Elliot wasn't there, and now we have to ask you because we made a prediction about what they were for you, but now you get to tell us.
Oh, cool.
That was ages ago.
That was ages
It was
ago.
like
Yeah,
2
weeks
podcasts ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
My favorite. Thank you for asking. Thank you for bringing. And I think you guys nailed it in terms of for the
we did
most part.
too.
Big Mac is number 1.
Yeah.
That's
I
your
love
number
Big Mac.
one.
I
You
said that.
can't
Remember
live
I
without.
said it.
Yeah,
I
we
said-
said Big Mac. We
I
said something
love
from
Big Macs.
Taco Bell, and then I think we said maybe like a Chick-fil-A something.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A would be another one, and
Oh,
Chick-fil-A
yeah.
specifically the original sandwich with pickles and
See, I said
mayonnaise
this.
and
Did I not
Polynesian
say
sauce.
this?
Way to go! Yeah, we nailed you.
And waffle fries also dipped in mayonnaise because I'm disgusting. And
for you, buddy.
and the Taco Bell thing is the
Cheesy gordita
Supreme
crunch.
Cool Ranch.
No, I
yeah.
was wrong.
Supreme Cool Ranch, Doritos Locos Tacos, and that's a fun thing to
Wow.
order because I feel like you just say a bunch of words
Yeah, it's
randomly, and they're like, "We know
all
what it
just-
is."
Yep.
You can just stick your head out the window at a Taco Bell and you're going to be satisfied.
Yeah.
Just scream.
Did you guys
Ah.
count pizza? Pizza's a big one for me. Domino's pizza.
No, see, here's that we didn't really get
Pepperoni
into it
bacon.
because I think it has to drive through. I think we gotta
At
go
least.
drive through.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
Yeah.
Steve added Panda Express in there, and I
No.
was like, no. He's like, well,
But
it
then
has
people-
a
That's
drive
eating out.
through, and I
But
was like,
it does have a
okay,
drive-through.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like right on the border.
It's
I thought
border.
no.
It's not,
Pizza
it's a
is
no.
just a
You know in
no.
your heart that's a no.
You know in
Yeah.
your heart that's
You
a
can
no.
justify it, but Panda Express is not
It
not in the
felt
same
bad
category.
when I
Yeah.
said it.
Okay, I
Yeah.
think-
Panda Express makes me feel worse than any other restaurant on earth, though. I have like a steel trap.
But
'cause they
you'll
crap all the time.
still do it.
You'll still eat
I'll
the
still
food
do
from
it sometimes.
Panda.
You'll still
Yes.
do it. I
'Cause
know.
it's like,
There's
I'm
certain
gonna
things
feel
where I'm
like
like,
crap.
yeah.
Yeah, what do you get? You get that orange chicken? You get that Kung Pao chicken? What you get?
Yeah,
Rick and Morty, they call it sugar chicken on Rick and and it makes me so
You get some of that sugar
happy.
chicken? Huh?
Did
That's
you get
really
sugar
funny.
chicken? And it's my favorite thing in the world because that's exactly what it is. Just
100%
fucking sugar chicken.
sugar chicken.
Oh, it's so good.
You wouldn't count like Subway.
No.
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 Yeah,
Are
we're on
you
the same
gonna,
page.
On a
We're on the
desert
same page.
island, are you going to have Subway?
Desert Island, I would eat a lot of Big Macs for sure.
Yeah,
So
that's
salty.
what
but
I'm saying.
I could be wrong here, but I feel like true fast food, you don't get to really see it be prepared. Like, it's a mystery about what's going to be in your box. You don't know how
That's a
burger
great
was
point.
made.
That's a great point.
It's fast and
I'm
it's
fine with
hot,
that.
but
Me
you don't
too.
know how it got there.
Keep it a
I'm
mystery.
living in it.
Yeah, right.
I need it to be a mystery.
Which
Yeah.
is, again, why Panda may not count, because even if you go in, you can, like, no, I see it,
Yeah,
I'm going to scoop it.
yeah.
The main ingredient has to be ignorance, basically,
absolutely.
and
Good
for it
job.
to be a proper. And
Right.
I
That's
yeah.
great.
It's
is
fun.
great.
I have a very very bad problem with fast food. It's like of all of my, not all of them,
Vices?
but of the vices that I have, fast food I would count as the one I truly have no ability to control. I can stop drinking, I can stop doing all sorts of other things, but fast food, I really am like, I'm powerless to
I
it.
love that so much. I'm just like, ah,
Yeah.
to Mama, no,
Yeah.
Dr. Supreme Tacos, Doritos, Locos. Why?
That's pretty much what it is, yeah.
And I've been sober for 7 years now. Okay, thanks, Tommy. All right, we got somebody else. Your name's Elliot. Elliot.
I can't stop eating Big Macs. And they're not even that good half the time.
Hi,
and-
Elliot. Like, there's so many people that's like, yeah.
I know
get it.
it's a regression. It's like it's turning back into a 3-year-old or 4-year-old when it's my way of
Yeah.
comforting
Oh, there's,
myself
like,
on a
I
soul
did
level.
Weight Watchers for so long, and there would always be those like they try to get really deep with you, and they're like, and why do you think it is? And like 9 times out of 10, it's like fucking delicious. It was never like,
tastes
well,
really
my
good in my
mom
mouth.
said
Yeah.
that food was love. It was always like fucking so good. It's so good.
There's
It
no
fucking
mystery.
is so good.
You know what you're getting. That's
Yeah.
another thing about like Panda Express and all that stuff. You don't know exactly. Like there can be some variation, but Big Macs taste the same. Oh God.
Uh-oh.
Oh no,
Oh,
he's gonna
no, he's
afterwards,
relapsing!
This is it. Relapse. Yeah, he's afterwards. He's
I
gonna
told
go
you,
get one.
Can't
He
have a
just-
relapse if you never stop.
Did I tell you guys like last Friday? I like looked at my emails, and sometimes I don't like open emails or mail, and which presents a problem sometimes with the government. But
Sure.
that happens sometimes on Wednesdays. But I had a big problem. But I checked my email, and there were 2 unopened emails from Domino's Pizza within like a 5-day span, and
Oh,
I didn't
baby.
realize it. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly I think what I said to myself. I think I went, oh baby, oh no, buddy, you can't do that anymore.
There's my friend. I'm gonna shout her out. I love Kimberly Condit more than life itself. She's one of my best friends, and literally like there was one time where she has Domino's on her phone, so quick and so
She got
fast
that
that
app.
it's almost like magic, because literally I was like, do pizza? Do you think maybe pizza? And she's like, it's coming. Oh my God. Like,
See,
it's
I know what she's
so
talking about. The
good.
app is incredible, and I choose not to have an account because I know that I will
She-
be
You
like,
would
I mean,
abuse it.
it really is like it's kind of also, but she just knows. But it's just one of those things where you're like, and did you count her? She's like, I got it. And you're like, but everyone in
Real,
and you got that we all want. Yeah, you're just like, oh
yeah, no, it's
my
done.
God.
Yeah, it's done.
Real
Yeah.
quick shout out to Domino's, more than we already are, because at some point in the last 10-15 years, they surpassed Pizza Hut, which used to be number 1. And Domino's,
That was never number 1.
It was for me.
it was.
Was it? Good for
Absolutely.
you.
Pizza
It
Hut
was
messed
never-
up one too many times
Domino's
with me.
Yep.
is in my heart.
Domino's,
Forever.
the slight changes in their recipe, whatever.
Oh, they
Whatever
killed
they're
it.
doing, they're
Yeah.
doing good. Yeah.
Whatever employee did that thing. Do you remember that where the employee filmed themselves like shooting like
Yes.
snot over the pizza or something like that? Do you remember that?
And then they had to change.
And they
like,
changed
to- yeah,
everything.
they
That
did.
employee saved Domino's
Wow.
ultimately.
that employee was Papa John.
Yeah. He kept
He's just Papa.
uttering racial slurs the entire
Oh.
time.
The entire-
oh, Papa.
Good housekeeping joke.
Great
Good housekeeping.
Thank you, Ed.
And
Really
good
good
housekeeping, Lee. First of all, I want to make an announcement, and that is that we have a sponsor.
We got a sponsor. We got a sponsor. Helping keep the lights on.
God, I would love it if it would just click.
And that brings us to lightson.com/Valley. So this is actually, if I'm being perfectly frank, I called dibs on doing this read because I love them very much. And I'm currently wearing their clothing. I'm wearing their jeans specifically. You can't see it if you're watching on the video version, but I am wearing their jeans. And it's,
Are they the cute ones I like? They are the cute
Thank
ones
you,
I like.
Lee. I like them
Oh,
a
I
lot.
like
I've been
a
wearing them
lot.
every day. It's from Stitch Fix, you guys. And Stitch Fix has basically reimagined the way that we find and buy clothes. First of all, they have a focus on convenience. They understand that life gets gets busy. So all you have to do is you have to tell them your sizes, you have to tell them your favorite types of clothes and how much you want to spend, and then a personal stylist will choose clothes based on your sizes, what you like, what you don't like, and they will send you clothes that they think you'll enjoy and that will fit you. And then you go through and you decide what you like and what you don't like. You only pay for what you keep, and all you pay for is a $20 styling fee so that somebody can go through and and also you can leave them notes. You can leave because I was like, I like this thing, I like this kind of style, I'm kind of tall, whatever, and they delivered perfectly. And
you know who it works
They
for?
did. I will say they did deliver perfectly. I'm gonna interject for 1 second because
Please.
literally this entire last couple weeks, every shirt that I've seen, I've been like, God, I really like that. Is that Stitch Fix? And it's always
Yeah.
literally everything that you've worn, I keep that I'm tragically in love with. It
it's
keeps
nice.
being Stitch Fix.
It works for
amazing.
people like me because I
This is so
friggin'
true.
hate shopping.
You
and
do,
I don't
and you're
do
not
that.
a shopper. You never will be a shopper. Also, and it's the same thing though. I'm like, that's really cute.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very normally you would just roll out of bed and put
Yep.
shoes on.
Yep.
And it's very cute to be like, oh look, he's
Yep.
wearing a shirt.
Yep, but
very nice.
now I roll out of bed and I put a Stitch Fix shirt
Yeah,
on.
that's exactly the difference.
Yep. So you answer some basic questions. They can help you with style if you don't have it. They
nice.
can give you variety if you do have it, but you want to try different things. Your personal stylist will spring into action after you give them the information. They'll hand select 5 brand new clothing items that are just for you, and their styling fee is only $20. Here's the deal: whatever you keep, the $20 that you spend on the styling fee just goes toward the credit. It's credited to
that's
your
nice.
stuff or whatever you keep. And since they only use your preferences to pick your clothes, you're still in complete control. You can leave them little notes. You can do whatever you want. Once your items arrive, you try them on. You do a little fashion show in the mirror,
nice.
like
That's cute.
I'm sure you normally do, as I do, every day. And if you don't like it or you need another size, you send the items back. It's really cool how they do it. They have a bag you can put your stuff in with a return address, blah, blah, blah. And
It's just easy.
yeah, it's perfect. And so get your fix whenever you want,
Do it.
or sign up to receive scheduled shipments. The choice is yours.
Ooh.
I personally do actually truly love Stitch Fix, and if you guys want to help the podcast and you want to help the Valleyfolk, please go to stitchfix.com/valley to get started now, and then you can keep all 5 items. If you keep all 5 items, keep all 5 items in your box, and you'll get 25% off your entire purchase, which is very good.
Dang.
Imagine that as a sale. You'd be buying clothes left and right. That is stitchfix.com/valley, stitchfix.com/valley, and then it says something along the lines of personalize it. We personalized it from a place of our hearts.
We're in love with you.
Yeah.
Our
We
well
wanna know
well
if you
attired
want
hearts.
to take
Yep.
your
Check it out, guys.
relationship
Every
to the
time
next
you
level.
you do that, it helps us out, and
Yeah.
we appreciate it. So thank you.
Beautiful.
And thank you, Stitch Fix, for my jeans and also the beautiful socks that you sent me. They sent me great socks. Holy
You're a
crap.
sock guy too.
Were the socks covered in
do have
pictures
socks.
of the jeans that you're wearing?
I know.
I really thought you were going to say pictures of the Jews. And we were going to
I
go.
was like, not again. Good God.
We love full circle here.
Yeah.
Stitch Fix.
I'm doing a weird shout out of kindness this week. One, I did see the Won't You Be My Neighbor documentary,
And
which
you
is
loved it.
I wept. I openly wept. Pretty much 3 minutes in.
Really?
Pretty much 3 minutes in, I just started crying, and I did a smart thing of going to the bathroom beforehand and being like, I'm gonna get a lot of tissues
Because you're a pee crier, so you had to get that out.
I pee and cry, and everyone knows that.
my
I
thing.
need to keep hydrated. It's just who I am. But no, I got a bunch of tissues because people had said oh, I cried the whole time. So I was like, well, I cry. That's what I do on everything. Soldiers coming home, dogs loving each other. I cry. So I was like, well, this is not going to be good for me. But I started crying pretty much immediately. And also nothing is worse than stifling crying. Because your head hurts, your body hurts, you're sniffling, and you're like you want to just be like,
Yeah.
but you can't. It's so
I've heard of
beautiful.
this.
I've heard of this. This is what crying is.
Okay.
All right. But it was so well done. I feel like everyone in the world should see it right now because it feels. There's kind of a weird ominous thing. I don't know.
There's a lot of anger in the world, is what you're saying.
There's a lot of frustration with
There's a lot of us
the place
versus
that we
them.
are. There's a big split, and actually, Joan Rogers has a really beautiful line in it that I will spoil for you. But she talks about they talk about what Fred Rogers would do with the world presented today, and she says, I feel like he would bend the split. And it was such a
Bend
beautiful.
the split.
He
so
would
it-
bend the split,
Okay.
so it just
Yep,
bend.
I
And
get
I
it.
was like, God, what? She just thought of that on the top of her head, just she's really amazing too.
It's very nice.
Joan
But-
was his wife.
Joan was his wife, and
Okay.
so, but it was just such a beautiful thing of and who he was and how much like
Now
he
Beatrice,
really did.
his mistress,
Yes.
had a number of other things
nice
to say.
try. He's just a good guy. That is actually what they talk about in the documentary is like how all these like weird rumors get started about him, and they're like, he's just a good guy. Like he just cared about people. Like that's just what he did.
Right.
And so
Right,
it was like really a very beautiful thing. God, you guys are
Sorry,
monsters.
I'm
Both
just
you are
thinking.
so much
I'm just
monsters.
thinking
This is why
of the
I can't
song.
ever bring
I'm
up
just
anything
thinking,
positive.
No, it's really
ever
good,
on
but I
this.
am
Like,
thinking about
I'm
the Mr.
leaving,
Rogers
you're
song
dead.
that is.
I'll kill you all with your throats.
I'm
Today
very
we're gonna talk about a side piece.
yeah.
Horrible.
Ultimately keeps the
Horrible.
monogamy healthy.
If ever
love
if you just want to watch the film, you'd feel horrible about
Does he
yourselves
sing,
right now.
Does he sing you can love two people at once? Even on the married
different strokes for different folks.
Horrible people.
That's really beautiful. So what's your?
Oh, grow up.
It is beautiful.
No.
It's beautiful that you got away with all those horrible things that he did. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm
God.
kidding.
You
I'm
guys are gonna
kidding.
feel so horrible. You're gonna
Is
cry
this
so hard in
is
this
this
movie.
urban legend or is it truth? And I imagine that the movie would have touched on this, but was he was like a sniper?
He was never a Navy. No,
He was
like
never?
no.
So it's
no.
all bullcrap?
It's
He
all
was
bullcrap.
never in the
He was never in the
military?
military. He didn't have tattoos. Like they talk about it, and they talk about how literally they're just like he was just a good guy. Like he really was. And like the thing that I found so beautiful is that like the way he speaks about it, it's unlike anything. It's unlike anyone we have today. Like the way he truly did care about children and truly like revered children and like would say their thoughts are just as deep as ours. Their feelings are just as real as ours. Like, and approaching children from that place of like making them feel safe and sound and just like, and heard. And it was like such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I think if I were to like try to like, because it caught my attention that he said there's no one like that today, and I don't know, I'm sure there are people like that aren't on the level that he is.
Level that he was, yeah.
But like I feel like there's like this thing where, especially with the internet and everything, and this like very we just live in such cynical times now, and very like it to engage in sentimentality and to engage in childlike wonder is seen oftentimes, I think, as like a weakness. And stuff.
Really, I think it is, and it's also just like a kind of a weird like
People look at it
grow
like-
up, like grow up,
And
Yeah.
also
you know?
the worst of us will turn it into almost like a perverted thing.
Yes.
Like it's
Well, and also you just
what's wrong with that
was
guy
the biggest
connecting
they
with
talk
children?
About,
Yeah.
they talk about this constantly where they're just like, I don't know why people wanted to disintegrate him because really all he wanted to do was good. Like all he wanted to do was, and he talks so eloquently about things, and he really does. Like there's a line in it, and it fucked me up when it was in the trailers, and it screwed me up like continually throughout the thing. And he's like, everything boils down to love or the lack of it.
It's very
And I'm
sweet,
just
yeah.
like, ugh, like it just like got me so good, and it's so beautiful. But it was just one of those where like I left being so inspired to be like, be kind, be like, you don't know what people are going through, like just be kind, because here was this man that just was kind to children, like respected them, to not be like kids, to just like you have thoughts, and like how we can change the world is by telling kids how to diffuse their anger, by telling them how to learn, how to like want to learn, and all these things, and by like the togetherness of like, you know, I don't know, it was a rough time, and he's sitting there like having like there's a really beautiful thing where he like had a black guy in a pool with him, and it was the time where like
kiddie pool
it was
thing.
not the
beautiful.
time to do. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's just like all those things of the oneness.
It's
of
interesting. He would go and he would treat children as if they were adults and on the same level, and by getting to them early, it was more of a it was way easier to teach and mold in a good way, as opposed to how we all tend to function, where we don't have those conversations till later on in life when people are already kind of established, or the seeds have already been planted and grown and sowed, and people are becoming who they are, which is a lot harder to fix, and it's a lot harder to institute good.
Yes, that's exactly. And I think he talks about that a lot. And also just, I mean, it was just really beautiful. So I left with that. But then, you know, I was like in a funny headspace this week. I had like health stuff that I didn't know. It was like up and down. I was in an MRI, and that was weird. I hated it.
It was a long one too. Wasn't
It
it
was
like 90
minutes
Ooh,
in a
good God,
fucking
Lee.
MRI.
Ugh.
But I will say that I'm shouting out everyone. I went on Instagram and I was like, hey, I'm about to go in an MRI, and I was like kind of panicking. Like I've never been in it, and it's like a very weird feeling of
It's like a cage around your head.
Yeah, it's a cage around your head. You're totally helpless.
It
which
feels
is like not for me.
It seems like it'd be a weird mix of feeling caged in but also invaded upon, because you're like you're trapped, but at the same time all of your entire body is being just analyzed.
Yeah.
And that's like on a level that is so invasive, and yet at the same time you're in complete isolation. Like it seems like a very unique mental state to be in.
Take that horrible Big Mac of a situation that you're talking about and squirt on the special sauce of anxiety of knowing that there's results coming.
Yeah.
And when you
That's
get out
the
of
biggest
this
thing,
thing,
is that you're like,
you got all these tech people.
This doesn't fix anything.
Yeah, they look
it's
at you
just like,
and they're like, we saw everything. And then you go, can you tell me? And then they're not allowed to. So they'll just go, no. And then you read into that answer and then you got to wait weeks.
It was the worst. But so I went on Instagram and I literally like I was just like kind of in a weird place of like wanting to know. This is the beauty of, here's the housekeeping of Instagram. Here's the beauty of Instagram is I went on there and I was like, I'm about ready to go on MRI. If anyone has any dick pics or advice.
Please.
But I went and I was like, if anyone has any advice, and like I was flooded with so much, like people took time out of their day, and it was such a beautiful thing to be like that. You didn't have to do that. You have lives. It was so sweet. It was so kind. Everyone was so wonderful about like, here's what I do. One girl was like, you can cry. And I was like, thank you. It was so nice.
It's
to
okay.
just be like, you can cry. It's okay to cry. And I was just like, so it was one of those like, I'm doing a huge shout out to like human kindness. It was like a real human
people
kindness
that are kind
week.
and the actions behind. Not even
taking
motivations.
Time out. Like there's no reason why you should have done that. Like you didn't have to. And like I had people like paragraphs of advice that I read all of them. They're so sweet. They're so kind. And it was seriously so helpful to just like so many of them. And guy was like, people tell you to zen out. It's full bullshit. And I was like, yeah, because there's like crazy loud banging noises all around.
Yeah.
And it was insane. So my shout out this week is like shout out to human kindness, because people didn't have to do that. Fred Rogers didn't have to be who he was. I'm doing a huge shout out to Andrew Delmon, my stinking husband, because I've never met anyone as supportive and wonderful as him as a person. But like, I'm
right
gonna
here.
cry, but
come
I
on.
was fine.
You're going to say that in front of Joe Beretta.
Yeah.
I know.
That hurts a little bit.
Okay, I'll look away from him. I've never met anyone. But, okay, I'm just gonna.
Joe,
wall
take
up.
off your headphones and leave for a second.
Can you leave for a second? God, I think Delmon might be more supportive than Joe Beretta.
It's fine. It's funny you say that. I'm glad you said it in private.
Yeah. It was like I know he's supposed to be, because like husbands and stuff, but like really I'm always floored at like how above and beyond he goes with that kind of stuff of just like understanding and like knowing how I tick and knowing how to like absolutely just put a cork in my madness.
Yeah.
If that
Shouts
makes
to Delmon.
Shouts to Delmon, because he's a champ and
he's
a
a good
true
guy.
hero and a good guy, and
He's the
what
sweetest.
a great butt.
I'm going to go out on a limb and just say, I'm sorry, I'm going to speak for all of us, but collectively, the Valleyfolk thinks that Delmon is a swell guy.
He's a swell guy. He is. But so my shout out this week is human kindness, because I think we're kind of stuck in a weird place where there's a lot of horrible stuff going on, or like it definitely feels like an impending
tension.
doom. There's tension.
There's just tension.
It feels like impending everything. I don't know if that's just me, but I don't think it is.
I felt specifically like this week has been quietly a very life-altering week for at least everyone at this table. I can't speak for Steve, but even he, I think, is going through stuff. But like this week, oddly, it was very much like the stars aligning in kind of a negative way for everyone. And it's, I don't want to go into details.
Oh yeah, we've been through some crap.
This week has kind of been, like just on a personal level, it's insane.
Yeah.
Like,
it is on a personal level, but it is insane.
Right. And and that's us, as our little unit, and then us in our own individual lives. But it's so interesting that like these things do seem to happen in like a converging
wave,
way. And it's
always.
Yeah, it's like I was talking to a friend and she suggested like, it was like Mercury in retrograde. And I was like, maybe it's just too hot outside. Like maybe it's the fact that maybe it's the culture that we're living. Like there's a billion
reasons.
Yeah, and it's fascinating. Like it was so extreme for everybody. Like you, Lee, and then my deal. It comparatively is nothing, but like
no, but it feels
in
extreme,
my world,
yeah.
It was a big problem. And Joe, you're on another stratosphere with that kind of stuff, and it's like we're all kind of like cobbling this life together really quickly as we're doing this like Valleyfolk thing, and it's really cool. But when weeks like this happen, it's sort of just like, if anything, it tells me that we're on the right track. But at the same time, it's like, oh, this is shockingly.
I mean.
Yeah.
Serendipitous.
I was talking about and mentioning that like since we started this venture, that I don't think we have had a 7-day run where something horrible wasn't happening to one of us. at some point, or somebody close to us, like family members. There's always something where it's like, okay, well then you go handle that, and we got this here.
Yeah, and I will. So that's my second part of the shout out is that like, I'm gonna cry. So fuck it.
Don't you dare. Don't you do it.
I'm gonna cry.
No.
Leave it at the MRI.
Okay. Also, fucking
what if we were those
Androids
guys?
Androids run those things because I did cry in the MRI at the beginning of the MRI, and literally they're like,
I'm sorry, Lee. You'll get better.
No, it was that would have been at least a little bit.
Let me console you.
You okay? I was like, no, like clearly I'm not. But it was just,
Ooh.
Are you okay?
Bedside
I was
manner
like,
in the
good
medical field is a whole nother podcast.
I love my doctors more than anything. At UCLA cardiology, good God, they're princes among men. I would marry all of them in a heartbeat. But it was just the radiology nurse. I was like, are you all right? Mm-hmm. I was like, I feel like 11 from Stranger Things. And she's like, that show? And I was like, fuck off.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
I didn't
Burn in hell.
Can you give me another reference? Please?
I gotta go. Also, I was trying to make jokes as the Echo guy was doing a bunch of stuff on my heart. And like, me and Delmon are making jokes because that's what he does to dissuade everything in my mind. And we were making jokes, and the guy goes, can you guys be quiet? I need to focus. And Delmon just... like, you can't see, like, if you're listening, but he just was like, the fuck? Like, he was so mad at the guy. So the entire time, just behind his head, he was like, like, so upset with the guy.
That's funny.
It was really beautiful. But my shout out to kindness for you, so I won't cry, but is like, you guys just championed through. Like, you knew that I was going through shit medically, and you guys were just so wonderful about it and didn't say anything. You were just chill, and you took over everything, and I just love you for that. So fuck off and whatever, feel things that you want to feel. Elliot, this is what crying looks like, so I know it's weird for you, but
thank you, Lee. And I'm gonna first thank you, and thank you for trooping through all the stuff that you do to keep this train going, and to continue the kindness. We're gonna just call all those people that we interviewed while she was out and tell them no.
That would be nice. So thank you.
So I want to bounce off of the kindness thing, and we're going to keep talking about kindness, but now we're going to get into examples. And I'll start with one because I'm throwing this on you now, and it's probably not fair. So I want to talk about maybe examples in your life growing up or as an adult where an act of kindness was out of the blue and maybe changed a situation for the better. For example, when I was a kid, we moved into our new house. I was like 6 or 7, and we were the new family on the block. It's like 4 of us. I was 6. My little brother and sister were 5 at the time. My older brother was 10. So just this new gang of kids running around
Berettas.
These yards of our neighborhood, and we would run around the yards. It'd be like nighttime hide and seek, and we'd be hiding in nooks of crannies. And just loud kids. To our right was an older couple. To our left was an older widow. And when I say older, probably like 70s. And they had an established life. And it was fair to say that fairly quickly, the widow on the left was not very friendly, and we were scared of her. It was like, that's the witch next door. I think her name was Vina. It was a very different name.
Ooh, that's a good witch name.
Yeah,
I was
really good.
Very scared of her for the longest time, and there were times I'd be like, get out of my yard. And there was never any connection at any point. And oh God, this is my act of kindness. But one day, I think I heard something at school. Maybe we saw Mr. Rogers. Maybe we had learned a lesson in like 1st or 2nd grade. And we made cookies. And it was like, I just said, you know what? I'm going to take these cookies and I'm going to
witch Vina.
Bring them to the witch.
Yeah.
Vina.
It's really sweet.
And I did. And I was scared. Like I was shaking, knocking on the door. And I was by myself. And she came out. And she punched me in the... No.
She's wearing a big black
cone hat. She cast a
hat.
spell on me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to die. I think I have 2 days left.
Yeah.
But no, I gave her the cookies, and I saw like the preconceived like veil between us literally just go away. It just faded out of existence, and she was taken aback. She was kind, and then after that, we had a relationship. We were friends with the neighbor, and I think she returned the favor, actually. I think Christmas came, and then she gave me, like, imagine me bringing, like, these are my sugar cookies that I made with Mommy.
She gave you chicken bones?
She gave me pieces of turkey that used to roam her backyard.
Yeah. Cutlets.
Yeah. But yeah, no, then she returned the favor, one, by just, like, being kind and opening herself up to us moving forward, which made the whole neighborhood even better. But then I just remember on Christmas, she like, you take my crappy cookie platter that I gave her
beautiful.
and multiply it by 1,000.
That's beautiful.
Not just in taste, but in variety, in presentation.
Good job,
Imagine that platter
Nina.
she gave me that she got from
All
whenever.
Christmassy looking.
It was so good, and it's got the saran wrapping on it.
I love those.
You
And it's
gotta-
all homemade, and you're like,
Yep.
oh, this is fudge, and
They,
it's good.
They got those snickerdoodles with the Hershey
yeah, the
Kiss,
Hershey Kiss in the middle. Oh, God.
We got some peppermint bark, and she, like,
Tell me about the saran wrap. Was it like a red or green?
Yeah, was
saran
it a
wrap?
red or
You
green?
know what? I think it was a clear, but it might have had some
Ooh, I
like
don't
candy
care.
canes on it.
Clear.
It might have
Yeah,
had
good.
some-
yep.
Yeah.
Ooh, candy
yep.
canes. Still
Yep.
see through. Still see what you're getting.
You know, and then so that, I don't know. It's just kindness it's infectious.
It is.
And if you sometimes you have to jumpstart it, and sometimes somebody else will jumpstart it for
Well,
you.
it's also making a choice to it. And I don't think it's, for me, it's certainly not my first choice because I am a cynic at heart and because, like, I feel like I go negative. And so kindness isn't my, like, immediate thing just because I feel like it's kind of discouraged a little bit nowadays. And so I think it's really nice when it happens.
I have a
and-
tendency just to want people to be like me, and so therefore that gets confused with like kindness is very difficult when you're wanting something from somebody, and if you want them
An
to be
expectation
like
is
you,
a resentment under construction.
yeah, I mean that sounds like a nice
What?
thing. I think I agree with that.
An expectation is a resentment under construction.
Oh, interesting. Oh yeah, yeah.
Very
No, no,
zen,
I get
very
that.
Zen.
stoic.
Yeah, that's like burned. That text is burned into a piece of driftwood and on somebody's wall somewhere.
For
right.
sure.
Yeah.
That's a Linda Newton original, by the way. That's my mama.
Ooh,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
shout outs.
But yeah, I think I don't know. Kind acts I think are so very beautiful. One that this is not related at all, but it does relate to what we do, and the fact that we're here and how much is can be credited to this. I don't know. I don't think anybody could know. But when we launched this venture, we did it on a channel with 4 subscribers, and we were 4 of them, and it was Phil DeFranco did a very nice shout out, and it was one of those things that I did not expect, and I think it helped sort of kind of launch this thing, and then this has become whatever it has, and I think that that's like, that's a professional version of kindness that I think is very valuable, and it's also it's something that makes me go like, oh, okay, so this is we're good, we can
People
move forward
can
now.
do-
It was incredibly beautiful and sweet, and affected all of our lives in such a positive way that I think it is worthy of lauding.
shout-out,
But it's also not like, I also don't want to make it about like, oh, that's so, but it's also
But
such a
it's
sweet
the pure
thing.
kindness thing. It really is. I don't know. I love that.
It's interesting. Like kindness. I challenge folks out there listening to maybe try and force themselves to go out of their comfort zone and try a kind act themselves and just see what happens.
It's
like
so
become
fun.
like a scientist in the field of like kindness and see what kind of changes you can make. Because there's also a timeline. Like with Vina, I'm glad I did it when I did, because that's the only memory that I really have of her, because she died soon after.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
she was gone, and I would have had this memory of the scary
The
lady
scary-
next door,
Mhm.
but instead I have a memory of this very kind older lady that I just needed to talk to once to make a connection.
Yeah, and it can be as easy, I think, as like texting your parents or texting your friends and being like, hey, whatever. Like, and I am not great at it, but when you do it, there's like a vulnerability
There is such a-
associated. And it's like, oh, I hope they they don't really want to hear, they wouldn't care, like they don't really want it. Like, I'll do it later is a really good one. But when you just do any kind of thing, it's like, oh, this is actually what it's about, and like politeness and kindness and
it's
niceness
always like,
are-
I mean, this is so stupid, but it's like there's certain things that like people have said to me that they didn't even know, and I've held on to for so long that you're just like, thank you for telling me that, even though you might not think that it was that big of a deal, but like, good God, it like settled in my bones, of just those things that like, you're right, I shouldn't cut my bangs. Like, God, thank you.
yeah.
Thank you for telling me.
You would have looked like a monster. Okay.
Thank you. Like, really. Thank you.
Never.
Never. But I'm just just saying, just don't cut
Who's
your
the
bangs.
Who's the long-haired guy on Queer Eye? Is it Jonathan?
Jonathan
I
Van
want a
Ness.
Jonathan
God, he's
in my corner
sweet
giving
angel.
me all my advice.
Yes.
Like everything.
He's wonderful.
His
He's
way
amazing.
with words is great. Like everything would be just an awesome metaphor.
And it would be a brief.
What does
so
Jonathan
hard.
handle? What does he do?
He does all the grooming.
does all
you
the
love
hair.
him.
Oh, he's cool.
Yeah,
He's cool.
you
He's
love
cool.
him. Hardcore.
Yeah, he's a good one.
He's a good one. I loved him on Game of Thrones from the beginning, and so
Yeah.
I'm in love with the fact that
Game of Thrones.
Have you never seen it? It's the most. Oh God, it's so good. It's literally just him as a hairdresser going over the episode of Game of Thrones, but he
yeah.
always like has amazing nicknames
Fun.
for all these. He's like Little Baby Esther said that, and it's so fucking
Oh
good.
my god!
and it's
That's
so
my
good.
next thing. I want to do a podcast or a video for our for your show where we can somehow land him and he comes in.
God, he's so
he talks
good.
to us, learns about us for like 15 minutes,
And
and
just
then
gives us
presents
all
us with the
nicknames.
nicknames.
Yeah, it's
I
beautiful.
want that. Let's make
Great.
that happen.
It's great. I love it.
Jonathan, we're here.
Hey, Jonathan, do a kind act.
YouTube.com/the Valleyfolk.
You're sweet. We all love
Jonathan,
you.
maybe
We
try
all love
being
you.
kind. Maybe try.
You seem kind.
Try it on for size.
And I think you are kind.
You know a lot about size. Maybe try kindness
it.
on for it. You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
Yeah.
No.
We're in Sherman Oaks.
All right, you're gonna. So I'm gonna.
We don't
make
have any
everyone-
internet.
Hey, that's not a joke. We just sent our editor to like a McDonald's to use their Wi-Fi to
Yeah.
upload our show.
Yes. Good move on our part, making 20-minute episodes.
Good God.
So look forward to the episode tonight at 9 p.m.
Uh-huh.
Great. Well,
Yeah. I think
how are we
did it.
doing time-wise? I feel like
think
very
we
good
did it.
about this podcast. Is there?
We did it.
Guys,
We're
we just
championing.
hit the hour mark, and I feel like that's pretty good for the three of us
Yeah.
just sitting here hanging out.
That was nice. That was
Nice.
what a wonderful time. Thank you guys. Lee, thank you
Oh.
for bringing and opening up about that, and it means a lot.
Sorry, I
And thank you.
cried.
I'm big. You know, I'm like as much as I come off like an asshole. I first of all love you very much, but secondly,
too.
I do value when we are all a little bit more vulnerable, and I appreciate you doing that. It's nice.
Thanks, buddy.
I think it means a lot, and I think it affects people more positively than you realize.
Thanks, bud. Thanks a lot. I love that.
Don't cut your bangs.
Don't you
God,
dare!
I
I swear to
cannot.
God, you
I'm
cried
sorry.
this.
Okay,
You don't want to
yeah,
make
no,
us
and
cry.
You said it. I know.
Don't make us cry.
No, and I just want to know that I appreciate you for telling me that. I appreciate you.
Guys, thank you for listening to the Valleycast.
Yes.
If you haven't yet, subscribe to us over on youtube.com/thevalleyfolk or support us over at patreon.com/thevalleyfolk. And we got a lot of cool stuff coming out today.
Ooh, I'm stoked.
Today, right now. It's different when you're hearing this. Anyways, we just released the second episode of your show.
Yeah.
There's some really awesome things in it. Steve went to Kids Bop.
Kid Bop.
And
Kid Bop.
talked to a bunch of sad dads. And the episode alone is it's
Beautiful.
worth it for that.
And it's wonderful. And also, if you can't support on the Patreon, don't feel bad about that. And if you would like to help, you can also share that video and share
Yeah,
this
spread the
podcast.
word.
Like if you enjoy it or you get something out of it, and come along on the
last call of action is go do something kind and tweet it at us at the Valleyfolk on Twitter and tell us your stories and we'll retweet
Also, I'm
some.
going
and-
to change
Beautiful.
up, like, if you're watching this on YouTube, in the comments, tell us something kind that's happened
Yeah,
to you.
please.
What a shift in YouTube comments that's going to be.
I love what you did. I love what you did there, Lee.
Thanks, babe.
Compliment
Thanks.
bullies.
Kate, I like your shirt.
Yeah, nice.
That's a great
nice
shirt.
shirt,
It's
Kate.
Mickey.
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
She
Speaking
gave
of
us a
kind.
thumbs up.
There's a bunch of Mickeys on your shirt.
All right. Thank you,
Love it.
Kate.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Kate.
Kevin. Thank you,
Yes.
Victoria. Thank you, Jonathan Katz.
Yep. True. Fact.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.